Okay, so the way the combat works in this game is you have an 8-slot skill bar. So you have a primary class, which is like warrior, mage, monk, which is a healer, elementalist, which is like a mage, mesmer, ranger, and archer. A mesmer is like a psychic trickster type class. Fairly interesting. And then you've got necromancer, which is like what do they call it? I'm not sure what they call it. Warlock from World of Warcraft, kind of like that. They can sort of raise monsters out of the ground. This guy that I just killed is a necromancer. You can tell by the glowing aura on him. So the monsters also have primary classes. So it's not just a monster, it's a warrior or a necromancer, etc. And that adds an element of strategy to the game. Because you can sort of predict what they're going to do, what their strengths and weaknesses are, and it means they have certain abilities. So the abilities that a player has, say a primary assassin, the monsters can also have those abilities as well, which means you can sort of strategize as to how to defeat them by understanding what their skills do and what the weaknesses of those skills are. So these guys are mostly rangers and warriors. So you see the skill here, lightning reflexes. That is a blocking skill, and it also increases his attack speed. So what I want to do in this situation is preferably use unblockable attacks. Don't think I have any, but I think I was lucky there because they did not block my attacks in that circumstance. Maybe they would. So these guys are not doing anything. These guys are warriors, so they don't do too much. Endure Pain increases his health. Flurry increases his attack speed at the expense of attack damage, which is only useful in specific situations. Generally you want to combine that with another skill which adds an on-hit effect. But monsters tend not to have any intelligence in their skill combinations. So they get the same skills as you do, and they're often stronger because the monsters can go higher level than you can. But the monsters don't use the skills in an effective way by combining them properly with other skills. There's the concept of synergy in this game that's very important. The way that skills interact with each other. So these guys are monsters. They're using a skill called Punch of Phantasm, which drains health slowly. It's a hex-based skill, so it's basically like a long-term. It's kind of like an enchantment. It's like the reverse of an enchantment. So it's kind of like a debuff that has a timer on it. And that skill, that hex can be removed by a healer. The other one he used was Imagine Burden, which is like a slowing skill. These guys are elementalists, so they're using lightning-based attacks which have armor penetration. They're only level 4s though, so it's not really a problem for me as I'm max level. So this is not the best kind of situation to demonstrate this sort of thing. I'll go to a different area afterwards. I just want to get. Okay, so these guys are Char. So these are the proper enemies that we're meant to be fighting against. These are like the real deal. They're like properly dangerous. This one's a boss. You can tell by the glowing aura. So that signifies a boss in this game. That's the self-healing skill used. So if I don't attack him, he's got quite a lot of self-sustain. And in some cases in this game, you'll find creatures that are quite difficult to actually kill without specific abilities. So there's an element of strategy there. It depends how strong your team is. It depends how strong your abilities are. But in some situations, it certainly can get into a situation where they can out-heal your damage, which is kind of the case here, but unless I do something. So what I'm going to do is do a chain and kill this guy. Well, have the right timing there. Hit them on the low. So the story behind this mission is there's a big wall here, and it separates the enemies from our guys. So we live down here, and the enemies live in the north, and this massive wall separates them. And what we're doing is scouting to see what these enemies are doing on the other side of this wall. I think we're about to find out and get to the right place.
The Char invasion force. Captain Callan was right. They've spotted us. Back to the wall.
Okay, so that happened, right. So this is not visual. That was not a visual thing. If you do not run, these guys will fuck you up, and they come in like... Can you see all these dots on the radar here? That's how many there are. So there's like 30 or so of them. And what you can do is like bring high-level characters and try to survive this. Like, I've done that before. It's probably going to be pretty difficult because I don't have any stealth field. I've got AoE attacks. That looks different. As I said, they will fuck you up. Basically what you're supposed to do is run all the way across that bridge, all the way back to the massive wall, go through the gate and run away from them. Because this is basically an army of these guys. And they're planning to come and basically attack the city. So you are able, via that scouting, you're able to kind of get a forewarning of that attack. Okay, so that mission was quite strategic, and it was all scripted and stuff. So you're kind of probably thinking like, how does that fit into an MMO? These guys that are on my team, they are AI, so they're like NPCs that help you, and you control whether they're in your team or not. So you can kick them and add them, whichever ones you want. but generally you don't want those. Generally you want to be playing with other players, like in difficult situations. You'd usually only use these guys for something like a side quest or something that's easy to do, or walking from one place to another, just exploring or something. Yeah, they're not that great. Generally, you do want to be playing with a full team all the time. Though this is not a solo game. It's kind of it's just more of a strategy team-based game, kind of like Dragon Age, something like that. It's meant to be played with like groups versus groups. So groups of allies and groups of enemies attacking each other. Not like 1v1, although you can 1v1 and solo farm. The way that it works generally is you can collect teams when you're in a town. Okay, so I'm in a town right now. It's all divided into instances. Rather than being persistent. So there's a portal which separates the town from the combat zone, so nothing can attack. There's no monsters in this zone that can attack us, and this is the only place you can meet other players. So these little dots on the radar here, these little blue dots, those are other players. But once I go through this portal, there won't be any. It will just be monsters and whoever I added to my team. So I could, if I added another player, they would come through the portal with me and be here, but there would be you wouldn't be able to meet any of the players in this zone until you go back to a town. So that's kind of what separates it from things like World of Warcraft and Guild Wars 2. That's where Guild Wars 2 differs, because you can meet other players while you're in a combat area. Now the disadvantage of that, or rather the advantage of Guild Wars 1, is that because nobody's going to interfere with the combat, it means that the monsters don't respawn. Generally, they don't respawn, so you can take it like more strategically. You can approach things like carefully and take like one group at a time. You can sort of control, like for example, I can pull my bow out here, draw them over here, and then let's say my team has laid a load of traps or something down here. We could pull them into the traps and run back here without worrying about other players, like, I don't know, taking the kill or something, or like these monsters won't reset like in other games. They won't they will go back to where they sort of started, but they won't, their health probably won't reset per se, and their loot designation won't reset, so you can't like steal a kill or anything, and you don't have to wait for like a boss to respawn after somebody else has killed it. If you want to reset the monsters, you just go back through the portal and rezone. They'll come straight back again.